हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम टू माय चैनल। आज के इस वीडियो में हम ऑसिलेटर के 80+ MCQ क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करेंगे। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट विदाउट वेस्टिंग योर टाइम। MCQ क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने से पहले हम जान लेते हैं कि ऑसिलेटर होता क्या है। एन ऑसिलेटर इज़ अ डिवाइस विच कन्वर्ट्स DC पावर फ्रॉम द सप्लाई into AC पावर इन द लोड विदाउट एप्लीकेशन ऑफ एनी इनपुट सिग्नल। ऑसिलेटर एक डिवाइस है जो कि DC पावर को सप्लाई से DC पावर को AC पावर में कन्वर्ट करता है बिना किसी इनपुट सिग्नल के एप्लीकेशन के। द ऑसिलेटर इज़ एन एसेंशियल पार्ट ऑफ द रेडियो कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम। ऑसिलेटर जो है वो रेडियो कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम का एक बहुत ज़रूरी पार्ट है, बहुत एसेंशियल पार्ट है एंड फाइंड इट्स यूज इन रेडियो एंड टीवी ट्रांसमीटर एंड रिसीवर। इसका यूज़ रेडियो, टीवी ट्रांसमीटर और रिसीवर में किया जाता है। एम्पलीफायर एंड ऑसिलेटर ये दोनों एक ही जैसे होते हैं, बट फ़र्क क्या होता है कि एम्पलीफायर में इनपुट सिग्नल हमें देना पड़ता है एंड ऑसिलेटर में इनपुट सिग्नल हमें नहीं देना पड़ता है। अब हम 80 MCQ क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करें। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, ऑसिलेटर इज़ एन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइस विच कन्वर्ट्स DC पावर इंटू AC पावर। ऑप्शन ए इज़ राइट। ऑसिलेटर इज़ कॉल्ड इन्वर्टर। ऑप्शन सी इज़ right. An oscillator generates alternating voltage over a frequency from few Hz to GHz. Option B is right. The oscillator is an essential part of radio communication. Option C is right. The function of oscillator is similar to amplifier. Option D is right. An amplifier produces an input signal whose waveform is similar to input signal. Option C is right. An amplifier has power level very high. Option B is right. An amplifier additional power is supplied by external DC source. Option B is right. In amplifier the waveform, frequency and magnitude to AC power is controlled by an AC input signal. Option C is right. If there is no signal applied in circuit, then conversions occur. Option B is right. In an oscillator, the frequency, waveform and magnitude of AC power generated is controlled by. Option C is right. Circuit itself. An oscillator does not require an external signal either to start or maintain energy conversion process. Option B is right. An oscillator is an amplifier which provides its own input signal. Option B is right. In oscillator, an input signal is so long as DC power source is connected. Option B is right. In 15 number question, option B is right. In 16 number question, above circuit figure represents an oscillator. Option A is right. Any transistor oscillator, the essential components are tank circuit, transistor amplifier, feedback circuit. Option B is right. In tank, an inductance coil connected with a capacitor C in parallel. Option B is right. In tank circuit, the value of L and C determined. Option C is right. In oscillator, the feedback is used positive. Option A is right. In oscillator, transistor amplifier changes DC power received from battery. Option B is right. In oscillator, feedback circuit supplies. Option A is right. In oscillator, L and C constitutes a tank circuit. Option D is right. In oscillator, the discharging of capacitor is used because it produces oscillation in circuit. Option C is right. In tank circuit, the electrostatic energy stored in C is converted to. Option C is right. In an LC transistor oscillator, the active device is. Option C is right. Transistor. In 27 number question, in an LC circuit, when the capacitance is maximum, the inductance of inductor is minimum. Option A is right. In an LC oscillator, the frequency of oscillator is inversely proportional to square root of L or C. Option D is right. An oscillator produces undamped. Option B is right. A LC oscillator cannot be used to produce very low frequency. Option D is right. Hartley oscillator is commonly used in radio receiver. Option A is right. An oscillator differs from an amplifier because it requires no input signal. Option B is right. One condition of oscillation is. Option C is right. For an oscillator to properly start, the gain around the feedback loop must initially be greater than 1. Option B is right. In an LC oscillator, if the value of L increased 4 times, the frequency of oscillation is decreased 2 times. Option D is right. In oscillator circuit, the output signal oscillates with both constant amplitude and constant frequency. Option C is right. Open loop gain, in which the gain of amplifier is not obtained by feedback. Option B is right. In oscillator, the voltage gain after feedback is infinity. Option C is right. If there is an output obtained without input, then circuit acts as oscillator. Option D is right. Oscillators are based on the principle of. Option B is right. In oscillator, the negative resistance is provided by. Option A is right. The overall gain in positive feedback is. Option A is right. When the feedback signal is in phase with input signal, then feedback is positive. Option C is right. In the expression of overall gain, if AF is equal to A by 1 minus beta A, the term beta A is loop gain or feedback factor. Option C is right. For an amplifier that acts as an oscillator, the gain AF should be infinite. This is possible if. Option A is right. Loop gain becomes unity. For an oscillator, if loop gain, that is beta A, becomes unity, this condition is called Gaussian. The basic condition for the feedback amplifier to acts as an oscillator are. Option D is right. The phase of loop gain should be 0 or integral multiple of 2 pi. Option C is right. If loop gain beta A is less than 1, the output voltage is. Option C is right. Positive feedback amplifier work as an amplifier for. Option A is right. Beta A is greater than 1, the input signal becomes very large. Option A is right. For beta A greater than 1, the amplifier operates in. Option C is right. The frequency of oscillation may be determined by. Option D is right. Hartley oscillator has 2 forms. Option D is right. Noise voltage is. Option A is right. In Bark-Hausen, for an oscillator, the total phase shift in precisely. Option D is right. Recommended frequency range of Hartley oscillator is. Option A is right. In Hartley oscillator, if frequency are higher or lower range 30 kHz to 30 MHz, then option C is right. Lower frequency are not practically possible in case of Hartley oscillator because the requirement of low inductance value. Option C is right. The type of feedback used in Hartley oscillator is voltage series feedback. Option A is right. Hartley oscillator, the component used in feedback system is. Option A is right. In Hartley oscillator, inductors are used because. Option C is right. In Hartley oscillator, the network used to give feedback to transistor is capitative voltage divider. Option D is right. In Hartley oscillator, the number of capacitor used in the circuit is 1. The frequency of Hartley oscillator is. Option B is right. Active element used in Hartley oscillator is transistor. Option C is right. Hartley oscillator uses which type of feedback? Positive feedback. Option B is right. If L1 and L2 are the inductance used in Hartley oscillator, the effective inductance of L1 and L2 is. Option C is right. The configuration of transistor amplifier is used in Hartley oscillator. Option A is right. Phase shift provided by overall tank circuit in Hartley oscillator is 180 degree. Option C is right. The gain device in Hartley oscillator acts as a band pass filter. Option C is right. Hartley oscillator make use of. Option B. Option C is right. Class C amplifier. The phase difference provided by active element of Hartley oscillator is 180 degree. Option B is right. Next question है, an oscillator of LC type which has A split inductor in the tank circuit is option A is right. The condition of sustained oscillator in Hartley oscillator is option C is right. For sustained oscillation in tank circuit, beta A is 1, option A is right. The essential components of an oscillator is all of these, option D is right. Negative feedback applied to amplifier, option C is right. Decreases the gain but increase the bandwidth, option C is right. The effects of positive feedback are opposite to those of negative feedback, option A is right. Negative feedback in amplifier reduces gain, option A is right. An oscillator of LC type which has a split inductor in the tank circuit is option A is right. An oscillator circuit essentially consists of, option B is right. Electromagnetic wave are transverse, option A is right. Hartley oscillator is used in radio receivers, option A is right. The value of feedback fraction in Hartley oscillator is, option B is right. Device that converts DC signal into AC signal, option D is right. An oscillator converts DC into AC, option A is right. Barkhaussen's criteria for sustained oscillation is, option A is right. Negative feedback in an amplifier, option A is right. ऑसिलेटर के सारे MCQ कवर होते हैं. अगर वीडियो हेल्पफुल थी देन डोंट फॉरगेट टू सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल.